great start it is from Sean Lynn from pole position. That was just about perfect. He lit it off the line, and I think everybody's got away pretty cleanly. And he's going to hold on to it. Chevrons Griffiths is trying to get up the inside as they go into Madrid, but it doesn't quite work for him. So it is Sean Lynn who is leading, but it is a great start from Andrew Coccotti. I said keep an eye on him, and he has come up from the third row of the grid in that blue and orange little chevron there. He's up into third place.
Yeah, what a fantastic, whatever problems they had, it was unfortunate for the Lotus, who just tried to sneak up the inside, as now the number 37, very brave on the brakes, but he's done it. But watch out, behind, on Abs, he just ran on a little bit of oil, slightly wide there. It's going to be now a drag race down the straight, but fantastic race. Unfortunate there for the Lotus, though, who just got nipped, but he's still in the battle.
Yeah, still there, but what a good move by Miles Griffiths. That was brave stuff, but he's now taken the lead of this race. The number 37, and the man who started so well, Sean Lynn, finds himself down in third. Then that Lotus that started on the front row down to fourth, so Kubota now in fourth place, trying to hold off the rest of the field. Everybody chasing Andrew Coccotti, and still battling here with Sean Lynn. This is for second place. Andrew, that Chevron probably not quite as quick in a straight line as the GT40, but so light and small, very neat through these tighter corners like the chicane.
Yeah, there seems like maybe a little bit of debris on there as well. Someone's maybe ran over it. We've seen there in the background, but a nice, healthy lead. A great first lap from Miles Griffiths there. But down at Sean Lynch will be looking now ahead going, I need to get past, need to clear the number 2 car of Andrew Coccotti, because he'll be wanting to track down number 37 right now. But it's all fairly clean and tidy for now, Ben.
It is. So let's just take a look at that move again. This was how the lead changed. This was pretty brave.
It was very brave. I mean, because you don't want to go too deep on the brakes there. So we're going to see an onboard now. He just gets a little bit of oversteer through full water, pulls it out. Is there a gap? There certainly is. Laid on the brakes. You can see just the car just wanting to rotate. And lovely, easy stuff, made it look easy.
Oh, there's a problem there for the number 95 Chevron. That's the Westy Mitchell car. Whether it's a mechanical problem already, whether he ran wide, I'm not quite sure. But no change up front. Miles Griffiths is still leading this from Andrew Coccotti in second place, and Sean Lynn in third position. Sean quick down the back straight here. He always gets closer to the Chevron, but then hasn't quite got the speed. The Cobra's going well at this stage as well. Interesting to see the Bill Shepherd number 11 Cobra in 6th place. He'll be handing that over to Andy Prio. It's actually 5th place because the Mitchell car, I think, has just dropped out. We shall see as they come around. And there's the number 194, that very rare Roadster GT40 1965 car. They only made about 3 of those with those open tops racing versions, and it's lovely to see it here at Goodwood. So yes, the Mitchell car has dropped out, as I mentioned.
Yeah, it looked like that the Mitchell car was actually trying to adjust the mirrors. The number 16 pulls off the side of the road there.
Oh, that's a shame. We've lost Steve Parrish from the race.
Yeah, so very unfortunate for them. But yeah, the Mitchell car was adjusting the mirror on the left-hand side whilst on the grass. So I wonder if there had been some kind of contact at all there, Ben. So we might get a replay. I'll have a little look. But out in front, they've spread themselves out a little bit. Maybe thinking ahead, trying to save the tyre life.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, they will be handing these cars over to other drivers. We've got a nice little battle going on here. Let's keep an eye on this one. So that's the number 17 Lotus. That's the Michael O'Brien, Cameron Jackson car. And just trying to make a little bit more progress as they come through the field. It's done well so far with it. It is Cameron who's in the car right now. Very competitive young racer. And it's a good driver lineup, the pairing of them with Michael O'Brien as well. So it's just that they're not as powerful as something like the GT40, but he's not going to give up. He's going to try and go for a late lunch.
Yeah, they've made some good places because they started down 14th on the grid. Brave to try and make it through the chicane. No, better off slots in behind. We'll try and get the run out down to Madrix into turn 1. Getting in the toe, looks like hasn't quite got the legs down the straight and might even come under attack from the 194 behind, but he's looking very, very handy behind the wheel at the moment.
The car up ahead is the car that Jason Plato will be taking on later on. It's Craig Davis in the car right now, but we've still got some other good battles going on as well. There's the Cobra coming under a bit of pressure from 2 of the GT40. So the Cobra is one of the few cars in this that is a front-engine machine. that was a bit tight, wasn't it? As the number 8 car, Olivier Gallant, trying to find some space to get past, has a bit of a wobble.
Yeah, so I don't think he just saw him there on the right-hand side, and there is a bit of oil down as well. So we saw that at the start from the number 2 car, but a nice little battle going on here. Number 11 making his car as wide as possible.
So this is for 5th position, and it is very close at this stage. Bill Shepherd just holding on with the Cobra ahead of 2 GT40s, which is pretty impressive. Olivier Gallant in the number 8, and then in the number 6 car, we've got Maxwell Lynn, who will be sharing his car with Marino Franchitti. So the 2 Franchitti brothers will be out in a little while. Bill Shepherd really fighting the Cobra. Oh, that was a bit of a slide there, but has been held together by Max, who's got it all together. So they're all chasing after that Lotus as well. This is really a fight not just for 5th, but for 4th position in theory. Up front, still a good lead for Miles Griffiths in his GT40. He's got an advantage of 2.3 seconds. Last lap, he was about 7/10 faster than Andrew Piccoli. Andrew doing a great job in that Chevron. It's so good to see it running after it had a problem earlier on, and they had to get a fire extinguisher on it, and I didn't think we were going to see it back out on track. But thankfully, it is out there racing well. Oh, and again, it's close.
Yes, is he going to get the front slide wide? Is that going to allow Max to just edge up the inside? It's going to be a drag race down. Heavy braking zone. The car's moving around all over the place. But it's so nice to see different types of manufacturers battling and battling so closely as well.
Well, let's see how this continues. Down the straight, the Cobra still has good straight line speed. There's no doubt about it. You can see he's not under so much pressure as they come down the straight, but coming down into the braking area, perhaps the GT40 will have just a little bit more. It certainly closes up. Oh,
Ray, I was thinking that's brave round there, but he might have got the cut back into the chicane. It's not a corner you take 2 by 2, and he's done it. Fantastic. Sold the dummy.
That was very, very well done. No doubt about it. So Olivier Gallant has got that car up past the Cobra. It's the car he's sharing with Nicolas Minassian, but the Cobra's coming back. Straight line speed is impressive. Trying to have a little look, but no, can't quite make it. Has to hold back. Yeah,
Bill thought about it and thought better of it, I think, but he's now going to come under attack as well from the number 6 car.
Yeah, that's Maxwell Lynn in that car at the moment, and he's seen how you can do it, but can he repeat it? Can he find the same path?
Oh, he's going to have a look. Thought he was going to have a little look into St Mary's, but he thought better of it again. So let's see if he just tries to time it a little bit better.
Not quite there yet, but well, he's got to have an opportunity now. This is always an important part of the lap, isn't it? Because you're coming onto the long straight. You've also got back markers to deal with. Let's just have a little look at that, how that all came about again, Alice.
Yeah, so the number 11 took fairly normal line, maybe a little bit tighter, and then, yeah, slotted down the inside. Nicely done. And the thing is, when trying to race all different types of cars, is they've all got different sort of positives and negatives around the circuit. So where your car might be strong, another car might be weak, and vice versa. So it's really trying to work out quite quickly where the strengths of your other cars around you are in order to make that move forward. So they've caught up to the back of the Lotus now, so that'll be interesting to see the differences there. The number 11 definitely got more power compared to those around them down the straight, so then it's there that you need to try and capitalise by making the move into the corners.
And there's some lovely sound and vibration around the lap as we've got these types of cars. Big V8 engines in the back of the GT40s, and they are making a lot of noise. Same in the back of that yellow Lotus, a very similar engine. And as they come past our commentary position, you can actually feel the floor shaking a little bit, that vibration that these big V8 engines. It's a beautiful sound. It's something you don't really tend to hear in modern engines, but it's very much a part of the 1960s.
Oh, it certainly is. It certainly is. You know, at one point, I'm sitting on this chair, especially at the start when they all went past, it was vibrations galore, but no, it's brilliant to see, and some battles that are just, there's everywhere you look at the moment on track, there is battles going on, which is also fantastic as well.
Yeah, we've got the number 3 Chevron, a couple of Chevrons together there, actually. The number 27, that's B6, a slightly earlier car, the Andrew Newell and David Forsberry shared car. So we've got the Coleman car just up ahead of them. Number 15 getting out of the way, that's the Lotus 23B from the Baileys, Marshall and Tim Bailey, just getting out of the way. these Chevrons, very, very pretty machines, as we mentioned. Derek Bennett, ex-racing driver, he created the Chevron brand in the mid-1960s, and it took on fantastic success in British sports car racing, and then indeed into European racing, where they got the BMW 2-litre engine in there, about 200 horsepower, so lots of horsepower to play with, and swept the board in the British club racing formula, that's no doubt about that. And it was successful in Europe. Drivers included Brian Redmond, John Burton, people like that. And there's another chance, perhaps, to go for the outbraking.
Yeah. Is he going to do it just about down the inside? But they got Chris Harris in the number 77 car looming as well. So where you need to attack, you need to defend as well. You're in the middle of that sandwich. Chris Harris now on the charge down to Water. Is he having a look up the inside? Yeah, just about. I don't think the number 3 saw him there. Had to jink out. So, yeah, lovely move. Brave stuff there from Chris.
Yeah, Chris Harris sharing that car with Chris Goodwin. He'll be taking it over at some point. So, back to the 4th place battle now. The Lotus of Kubota sharing with Richard Bradley. And now under a bit of serious pressure from Olivier Gallant in the GT40. We saw him make a move earlier. Now he's going for the inside. Oh! Thankfully, Kubota saw him come just at the last moment. Yeah,
it looked like he went slightly tight, Kubota, into there, so ran a little bit wide. It's a very long corner there at Woodgut and tricky braking zone. But Olivier, yeah, he's not afraid of sticking his nose in, and he certainly did that there. So car looking very strong. But now we're going to see the replays. You see the Lotus slightly tighter, got a little bit out of shape on the brakes. And I think, yeah, it took his... number 8 there took the advantage, slotted down the inside, and he just about managed to hold on to it on the exit. But it might all be changed soon, because the pit lane opens in around about 3 minutes, Ben.
Right, OK, so we could see some a busy time in the pit lane coming up. It's a pretty small pit lane here at Goodwood, so they have to be very cautious. There are strict rules on the speeds that they come in, and you can't just... Yeah, there's a minimum pit time as well, so you shouldn't have to rush it, but it is important to try and get it right. So, Kubota still holding on to that position. Well, he's lost one position, but he's still trying to hold on to that 5th position now. Whether he's going to be able to do that from Maxwell Lynn, we shall see, because Lynn is getting a little closer now as they come down to that same area, which is certainly proving to be the favourite overtaking opportunity. Let's see whether he's not quite as close.
No, not quite as close. Lotus still naturally takes a slightly tighter line through there compared to the cars around him at the moment. And now in through the chicane, but there's a close battle now. It's going to be more 3-4 car battle at the moment. Because joining in is the number 17 car, the O'Brien car. Yeah. So number 11 has dropped back a little bit, but now we've got the O'Brien car in the mix as well.
Oh, it's gone wide. Maxwell's gone wide, and yeah, he's just about got it back on again. Oh, that could have easily gone wrong there. Thankfully, kept it out of the barrier, but that has gone wrong in a way, because he was challenging the position, and now he's lost a couple of places. Yeah,
and you make a mistake here at Goodwood, it can either pay or pay badly. For him there, it paid to position down. No
problems for the 29 car. That's the Julian Draper, Carl Jones, Attila Chevrolet. Maybe a mechanical issue, I'm not sure. Pretty
spin. It looked a little bit sideways on the grass, so we'll see if we can get an update. But on board now with the number 37, I would say got a nice clear track in front, but already come up to black markers as we saw the blue flag. Did you see how close they get to that tyre stack at the chicane, feathering it through?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. They'll be coming in fairly soon now. A lead of, the lead is actually only a second.
Yeah, it was 3 seconds the previous lap, Ben. So that's the problem with back markers and endurance racing. This is an endurance race, I guess, at the end of the day. You get caught wrong with the back markers, and your gap that you think, yeah, I'm a nice healthy gap, can be shrunk quite quickly, and that's what's happened here.
Yeah, it definitely has come down, although now he's beginning to pick it up just a little bit more. And yeah, Maxwell Lynn has dropped down to 8th place now after running onto the grass. We saw that just a few moments ago, so he's lost several places. He's now still there. There's another car just being lapped at this stage. That's the Elva BMW, the Mark 7S, another pretty little British-built car. but not quite the same pace as the Ford GT40s, that's for sure, nor indeed for the Chevron, which is running very, very quickly at this point. Now, I think we are going to start seeing some pit stops pretty soon now. The pit window is open, so let's see which cars are going to be coming into the pits. It was a good lap last time around by Miles Griffiths at 1:22.277, so it still did work out. Now let's see, anybody coming in just yet? Yes, they are. He's coming in, but Andrew Kokotti's staying out there. So coming in as soon as the pit lane opens up, and he's going to be handing over to Gordon Shedden. So this is going to be a good chance for Gordon, isn't it? Yeah,
he looked very handy in practice. So we can see him there on the right-hand side. Pulls up. There's not much room in this pit lane at all to barely open the car doors. So he hops out, in goes Gordon. Nice, nippy, quick belt change to adjust the belts, adjust the seats, buckling them in. It's very hard to strap yourselves in. You always look at it and go, why is someone helping you? Very difficult in race cars. No.
Oh.
Number 8.
Number 8 GT40, that is the Olivier Gallant car that is getting ready to hand over to Nicolas Minassian, that of course made some good places, and Gordon Shedden is on his way. So this is a good situation for Gordon, there's no doubt about it, in that car having the lead from the early stages. Is anyone going to be able to catch up with him? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, that's car stopped on the right-hand side there, so I wonder if we might see a safety car at some point. Obviously, yellow flags double waved at the moment. As I can see out of the commentary box window, he's out of the car and running down back towards the pit lane. So it might be okay, because it's not in a dangerous spot. As Gordon now getting to grips with hopping between one type of car to another type of car. But experienced driver, so I know he'll definitely adapt quickly.
Yeah, he'll be on it straight away, Gordon. We all know how talented he is, and raced many times here at Goodwood, taken plenty of victories here at Goodwood over the years as well. Extremely experienced driver himself. So that's the other GT40, number 13 car that Dario Franchitti is now clambering aboard. There you are, with Dario. And there's still a chance for Dario, but he will need to really put in some very rapid laps if he's going to be able to do that. But there is Gordon Shedden at the moment. Obviously not leading. Andrew Kokotti is the race leader, but we shall see. Let's go down into the pits and join Ed Foster.
Miles Griffiths, everything seemed to go pretty dreamy for you out there, didn't it?
Yeah, I sort of got the drop, or they got the drop on me at the start, but managed to get back into the lead on the first lap, and then just tried to get my head down and build a bit of a gap, really. So we got a bit mugged off with traffic at the end, but that's how it goes, same for everybody.
It's quite an audacious overtake, I'd say.
Really?
Well, it looked great.
There was definitely a gap there, so we went for it.
And is this the worst bit now, waiting and watching?
Not really, when you've got somebody like Gordon in the car. You know, he's an out-and-out professional, and we're doing a good job, so hopefully it all holds together till the end.
Great drive.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, we're back on board with Dario Franchitti as he's getting up to pace in his car. But we'll have to see in a lap or two just what the gap is between him and Gordon Shedden. There is the actual race leader. It is the number 2 car, the little one, the Chevron BMW B8 with Andrew Kokotti at the wheel. This car has been recently rebuilt, and they had that little overheating problem in qualifying, but it's running beautifully at the moment, I have to say. It's really looking very, very good indeed. And Andrew has got himself, in this group, quite a decent advantage. Mind you, quite a few of the people who were close to him have now made their pit stops.
Yeah, so he's 25 seconds in the lead at the moment, but as you said there, Ben, quite a few have made pit stops, but they've definitely done a great job with tidying up the rear of that car, where it seemed there was fire or overheating at some stage. And it looks like actually they've done a good job with the taping it at the back. So good old gaffer tape works wonders. It does for sure.
That window, the windows, the way they float in the air a little bit, that worries me a touch. The driver's window in particular.
Yes, yeah. Looks like it's like maybe that's just he's done that intentionally, but a bit of air. Open his windows up a little bit. Maybe it's a bit hot in there, but yeah, still a few cars popping in down to pit lane. But Gordon Shedden now on your screens. He'll just be there's no radios, so they can't communicate like in this modern day endurance racing. So he'll just have to wait and see now. When everyone's on their pit stops, whereabouts he is.
Yeah, you could see in the background there, you could see Franchitti's car. So the gap is around 4 seconds at the moment between these two, I believe. So they're not, this isn't for the lead yet, but they are the first cars that have made pit stops. So that's what we're looking at. Those that have made pit stops there. Look, there's Dario in the background. So not far away, but whether he's going to have the pace or not, I'm not sure. Andrew Cuccotti is staying out there for the moment before he comes in to hand over the car to Stuart Hall in a little while. Stuart won't be quite as quick, so we shall see where they end up later in the race. For now, we are still keeping a close attention on that battle between Gordon Shedden and Dario Franchitti. Good lap time from Gordon, wasn't it, that he just did?
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's about half a tenth between Gordon and Cuccotti at the moment, so it's still very close out there, lapping at a similar pace, but it's going to be the traffic. As we mentioned before, the blue flags are out, and people are moving out the way, but it can still hinder you, so you just want a clear run of the traffic, but lapping at a very similar pace at the moment.
Well, it's all working very well for the moment for Andrew Cuccotti, such an experienced racer himself over the years and involved in preparing cars, running teams, all sorts. Rob Huff has just set a new fastest lap though. Rob Huff in the number 9 GT40. Richard Mines was in the car earlier on, but now it's Rob, and we know he has tremendous pace here, so let's see how he gets on.
Yeah, he's always pretty handy around here at Goodwood. Enjoyed success, and yeah, he's set the fastest lap by a good few tenths to his nearest rivals. So yeah, you can see him smoking a little bit out the back, I think there, Ben. So hopefully that's nothing that's going to hinder them for the rest of the race. But yeah, he's always quick round here, and also very experienced as well. As lighting up the timing screens, as we expect, is the Lotus, the yellow Lotus. Richard Bradley behind that wheel now, just gone purple in the first sector, and by a nice little margin as well.
Right, yeah, he was quick in qualifying too, wasn't he, in that yellow Lotus. A bit smoky, as you say, from Rob Huff's car here, but it is working okay at this stage. Now, the gap between the two that have made their pit stop just a little while ago, down to 2.6 seconds. So, yeah, still have got a race on between those that have made a pit stop. A big lead for the man who hasn't yet made a pit stop. Oh, and we've got a spin. Oh, what a shame for the number 10 Lotus. The race leader is Andrew Cuccotti, who has a big lead, but that's because he hasn't made a pit stop yet. So he's been doing a tremendous pace, matching the pace of the Ford GT40s that have made their pit stops already. But we do think that it's going to be Gordon Shedden once everybody's made their pit stops. But we have just seen a big moment, a big spin. Let's have a look. Oh, that's where it went wrong. And
he'd just gone purple as well in the first and middle sector. So absolute nightmare there. He managed to keep it going because he has crossed the line, but did lose around about 25 seconds from that spin. So that would have dropped them a little bit further down the order, but it definitely was lighting up the timing screens. As the Cuccotti car still lapping a fairly consistent pace, slightly, actually 2 seconds quicker than Gordon Shedden on that last lap. So seems to be dealing with the traffic pretty well. Still got just over 20 minutes left of the race, so obviously they will have to box at some point to change, as here doesn't look quite a busy area of track there.
But there, the silver GT40 is the one that we are focused on. That's the Gordon Shedden. Oh my goodness! He had to go across the grass, take out. Oh no, he's lost it! He's lost it! The man who we thought was going to have the lead! Oh, he's into the barrier as well. It all went wrong. Lapping back markers, that's where it went wrong.
Yeah, just because it gets so busy, he's so desperate. He knows how close it is. He's trying to start the car. Doesn't look like there's too much damage to the rear of the car. Could just be bodywork, but went was forced really onto the grass. But I just think it's going so quick down that straight. It looks like it's okay. Might have a few flat spots from the spin, but that might have cost him the win there.
Oh, what a shame for Gordon Shedden, because we knew there was a battle developing with Dario Franchitti. Now, there's Andrew Picotti, so he is the actual race leader, but now that he makes his pit stop, this will put Dario Franchitti into the lead. Franchitti was catching Shedden. They had already done their pit stops. Now, this car is making its one and only pit stop in this race, and Andrew's been very, very rapid. It now gets handed over to Stuart Hall, and Stuart is an experienced racer. I'm not sure he's going to have quite the same pace, so whether he can battle to be up front with the likes of Dario Franchitti, we shall see. Now, what is going to be fascinating is how far has Shedden dropped back, and is he going to be able to pick back up? Because we know Rob Huff in another GT40, number 9, is also flying along at this
point. So 25 seconds Gordon lost in that last sector from that spin, and Huff has just gone purple in the first sector as well, and again by a good half a second between Franchitti as he just goes through the chicane now, so he is going to pit. It's going to be so close, but yeah, definitely pipped him coming out of pit lane.
Yeah, so he goes, there's the pit lane exit. There is the Gulf-coloured GT40 effectively coming through, and that is the lead. Dario Franchitti in the blue and red car coming through one of the slower cars further down the field. That is our race leader now, and the car that started up front on pole position thanks to the lap that Dario did in qualifying. But let's just see what happened with Shedden here again, Alice.
Yeah, so I can't work out which black car it is on the inside there, and I just think because he went on the grass, his tyres were a little bit down, but it's still wet on the grass. You can see he knocked the 150-metre polystyrene board there, just went to hit the brakes, turned in, yeah, just lost the rear of the car. And he now is 19 seconds, as we see the onboard there. He's hard on the brakes, you're just praying, please stop, please stop. So that was lucky that it was only a brief touch. He lost 25 seconds there, Ben, and he's now 19 seconds behind the lead. So wow. I think he would have had at least 3 or 4 seconds margin on those around him. So yeah, quite unfortunate there.
Oh, poor Gordon. But I'm sure you're right. He having getting wet tyres, it just threw the braking. But Rob Huff has set fastest lap. He is absolutely flying at the moment. He's currently in 4th place, but he's a little way behind Shedden. But then Shedden will do, I think, a careful lap or so, just to make sure the car's feeling all right. But it seems to be running okay. You can't see any damage on the back of Gordon Shedden's GT40. So hopefully he's going to be able to push on as well. At the moment, the car that was leading during the pit stops, the Chevron, Andrew Picotti, that of course is still up there at the moment, but that will drop back effectively, I'm pretty sure. So we shall see over the next few laps how that changes. The potential podium here, we've got a few other cars still racing hard. So there is Rob Huff, number 9. He's the one who's set fastest lap. Huge experience in touring car racing, both in the UK and all over the world touring cars. And also he's always loved historic racing, having started out in an MGB in his youth, and he still loves racing classics every year at some point. Always quick here at Goodwood. There is our race leader, though. It is Dario Franchitti, and the lap times are pretty consistent, aren't they?
Yeah, so he's been quite consistent. Obviously, he's had experience of endurance racing before, so dealing with the traffic is something he'll be used to. But the Rob Huff car, is actually lapping a good 2.5 quicker, but he is about 32 seconds off the lead. So, yeah, Dario then gesticulating across the line. So I don't know whether it's at the traffic, but it does look that he's got his front grille is full of grass. Can you see that on your screens there? That might have been from the grass that Gordon Shedden went over. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's getting quite hot then.
Interesting to see. So this car is still running second. That is some 8 seconds behind. And then there's another gap of 14 seconds to the Gordon Shedden GT40, and then another 9 seconds back to Rob Huff. And another good lap from Rob on that lap. He did a 1:21.9, much quicker actually than anyone ahead of him. I think might have been traffic partly as well. So we'll just have to see how that all goes. But yeah, it's all going on. Drivers being changed. A chance for us to catch up with some of them. Let's go to Ed.
Andrew, you had an absolutely cracking start and then obviously a pretty fantastic first stint.
Yeah, I mean, it was always difficult to know where the B8 would be relative to the GT40s, because I think it's the first time they've had them here. So yeah, it was great fun, to be honest. Great off the line. The car's good off the line, and then just do the best I could in the first stint.
And now a nervous sort of 15 odd minutes waiting.
Yeah, just have to see if we can hang on. I mean, obviously the way it works on drivers, I guess some of the slower ones were in our layer, and yeah, let's see. You just don't know, but it's been great fun anyway. Fantastic race.
A great drive.
Well, good to hear from Andrew there after his excellent performance in this car a little bit earlier on. And now we'll see how Stuart Hall manages to bring it home. It is still in second place at the moment, and he's actually doing a decent job. That last lap was a 124.7. That's very appreciative lap. There's similar sort of pace, isn't it, to the GT40s around?
Yeah, certainly is. As Richard Bradley now settled back in. He's set purple in the first sector. But Dario seems pretty comfy out front, stretching his lead a little bit. We've seen how quickly that can change with traffic and what have you. Keep an eye on as well. His front grille, grass in the front, so we'll see how he copes with the temperatures. He's got Richard Bradley behind him, but he is a lap down. And car number 2, drive-through penalty. So an infringement for car number 2. That's the Kirkcaldy Hall car.
Oh, what a shame, a pit lane infringement. So was that timing in the pits? We're just looking at a lock-up replay there. But yeah, we've just learned that there is a drive-through penalty for the Andrew Kirkcaldy car for whatever happened in the pit lane. So whether it was speed in the pit lane, whether it was they did the pit stop too quick, I don't know, but obviously they have been picked up for something.
Yeah, so they'll get that message with a black flag, which will be hung over the pit wall. You can see out the commentary box window, and it will say drive-through penalty, board underneath. As I said, no radios, and he's just set fastest in the last sector as well. So I'd expect him to be, well, you have to do it within 3 laps, Ben. So he has 3 laps to go through, and some more penalties flashing up on the screen. Car 13 and 27, 10-second penalties.
Too many people were working on the car, apparently. That is the cause of the penalty, certainly on the first one. But as you say, some separate penalties, some 10-second penalties to car. Oh, car 13, the race leader, has got a 10-second penalty, less than the minimum time stop. Oh my goodness! So this is all going to change. We know car 2, so the top 2 cars that we've actually got on grid, that one, number 13 you're looking at, that's just been told we've got a 10-second penalty. Car number 2, the car that's running second, that's got a drive-through penalty. Okay, so this is going to put Shedden back in front, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it will. Well, is it? Because at the moment, the 10-second, Gordon is around about 20 seconds behind, 25 seconds behind, I think. So that spin did cost him. As we can see now, there's a very slow
drive-through penalty.
Drive-through penalty. As you can see, there's a guy there on the right-hand side that had a speed gun just to make sure that he wasn't speeding down the pit lane. He folds back out 24 seconds behind the lead. Gordon Shedden's only 2.8 behind him. So he still kept on to track position, but that would have been possibly the win for them.
But actually, I was just sort of looking at it again and realising that this 10 seconds is only going to be added after the race. Actually, Franchitti can still win this because he's 24 seconds ahead. So as long as he keeps that kind of gap, even with the 10-second penalty, he's actually going to still end up with a comfortable victory, isn't he?
Yeah, no, for sure. And luckily for him, you know, Gordon Shedden had the spin, and the number 10 car there on your screens, Richard Bradley, who had the spin out of Woodcote. He is lighting the time screen, so his last lap there is about 2 seconds quicker than that of Dario's out in front, and we saw him actually overtake and sort of unlap himself as well. So either driving with anger can sometimes make you go quicker, but we already know that Richard was a very fast driver. A little adjustment to his middle mirror there. So really disappointing for the number 10 car, because I think they would have been in this battle, for this podium battle for sure.
Absolutely, it feels like everybody's handing this to Dario today. But a 10-second penalty added at the end of the race. It's not that he has to come in for a stop for 10 seconds, which of course we do see that in some forms of motor racing sometimes, that you have to come into the pits, do a stop for 10 seconds and then come back out again. That would have cost him the win. But to add 10 seconds to his overall time at the end of the race, which is what I'm being told it will be, he's got plenty. He's got 26 seconds advantage at the moment over the second place car. In fact, that will be different, I think, when they come round over the line again next time. So yeah, he's in a good position still here, Dario Franchitti, as he comes through the lap some of the other cars. There's that beautiful roadster, the GT40 roadster of the Makeda Silva family. And then he's got another few cars to pick his way past, but he doesn't need to rush, does he? He can just take his time.
Well, yeah, I mean, he needs to, I'm sure he'll have the gap, I'm sure. I can see the pit boards hanging out over the side of the pit wall, so he'll have the gap there. He'll be aware of the time penalty as well, and I'm sure he's clever enough to work out the gaps. But he's dealing with the traffic, like I said, he doesn't need to rush. You know, we see Gordon having that error and being forced out onto the grass, as we're going to ride on board now with the battle for second. So you can see Gordon's closing up to the back of Hall at the moment, setting fairly similar lap times. Not much between them, but it will be, the test will be when they catch up with that traffic that's not far in front of them.
This is a lovely onboard view when you've got a battle that's going on for second position coming up here. You're on board with Gordon Shedden, he's in third. The car up ahead of you is the car in second place. Different styles of car to a certain extent. Big Ford GT40. This was Stuart Hall just getting a little bit sideways a moment ago, but he's putting together some beautiful laps, as you said, Alice. His last lap was a very good lap, 122.8. So he's really putting the laps together extremely well in the Chevron. And Gordon is having to work hard at this to close that gap down. A little bit of slip and slide as he comes through Levant. And we know the GT40 is very quick when you come out of this corner. But can he close that gap up a little bit more and have an opportunity? In the background, you can see the silver GT40 still not quite on terms with the Chevron to be able to get alongside. We've got the fourth place car not far behind as well. You see, there's Rob Huff. You told us how fast he was going earlier. He could become part of this.
And he still is. He's just gone green, so that means a personal best for him in the middle sector, but so is Gordon Shedden. So Hall is struggling a little bit in that first sector, had a good middle sector. We'll see what the last sectors pop up now, but it goes purple actually. So the times are all so close, Ben. They're all pretty much lapping at the same speed, apart from Rob Huff there. He's in the 121s, whereas we've got Hall and Shedden in the 122s. So Huff has got them in his sights and is chasing them down quickly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Stuart Hall's doing a fantastic job in that Chevron at the moment. He's really putting the laps in beautifully well. Let's see if he can control it with Gordon Shedden so close behind. Gordon having had that problem earlier, that mistake by getting on the grass and then losing control. There are more back markers coming up, and we saw how that affected him before. This could affect any of them as they come up to overtake. And Rob Huff with his lights on in the background as well. He could be in this fight for second place. I think there's no problem for Dario Franchitti, even with his 10-second penalty. He's got a 24-second advantage over this battle, but we are going to enjoy a fight for second to the flag. Yeah,
second and third as well, because Rob Huff again setting a very good first and middle sector, but it's going to be about dealing this traffic, because there's quite a little bit of traffic. Luck could be on your side as well, depending on where you can catch them, because it looks like Shedden, it's not fell for him there. He's caught one of the back markers in the middle of the chicane, but Stuart Hall knows. He can see Gordon. He's got his lights on now, typical touring car fashion with the lights on. Whether he can flash them is another thing. But closing the gap, but Rob Huff, he's closed that gap again.
You can see they're braking pretty late. There's a little lock-up on the front left on both those cars. Rob Huff, I think, used the traffic well there, because that helped him just get a little closer again. So these three are fighting. Getting through this traffic is going to be so crucial. He gets away, go through on the inside. That's a relief to Stuart Hall, who does that beautifully and doesn't lose any time. He's certainly cutting his way through traffic pretty effectively at this stage. But it's always a hard one to predict. We've got just over 5 minutes to go in the Gurney Cup. It's looking very comfortable for Dario Franchitti up front, but it's all still open for second, third and fourth places here.
Yeah, and Shedden now, Huff is right on the back of him, nearly pushing him along. It's been a great cut here for Paul, but he's boxed in a little bit in the background there.
Look at how close Huff is to Shedden in the background.
Close, but it might just be that Rob Huff will have to wait for the next lap as they come into Woodcote now. But, or is it? They've caught this bunch really quickly going into the chicane, and it might look like, again, Shedden's going to get caught. He's gone down the inside, feathered it through. It's going to be a drag race up the main straight, Ben.
It is, yeah. This is a chance for Rob Huff in the red GT40 to get past Gordon Shedden. They're both lapping another GT40, which is much further down the field and is keeping to the inside. It's giving them space to go around the outside. So they've got a clear run, have they? Yeah, Rob's having to go right round the outside through Madrid. It's not easy to do that, but he's done it many times in the past. Oh, puts wheels on the grass. Just about gets away with it. My goodness, it's all a bit too thrilling. Do they know who's being lapped? I'm not sure.
Imagine Rob is there shouting, "I'm lapping you, move out the way." He's lost a little bit of time to Gordon in front. Still 4 minutes left to go, and with his previous pace, that gap will close pretty quickly. Very, very strong in the first two sectors, but it spelled well for Stuart Hall. He got a little bit of a gap there from Shedden, but there's more back markers that they will be coming up to as well, as we're seeing on screens now, the race leader, and I think, yeah, it's pretty safe. I hope I'm just not commentators cursed him. Touch wood for Dario and his team. Yeah, nice gap from them.
Yeah, absolutely, even with the 10-second penalty. I noticed his pit board has got a lot of figures on it. I think they're trying to explain to him, yes, you've got a penalty, but yes, you are leading this race. Your advantage is such and such. Maybe, I don't know if they're doing all that on the pit board, but there were lots of numbers on it. And Dario's in a very good position, but this is a wonderful fight. But still, Stuart is holding on. He's got that gap a little bit more, I think, than it was last time, up to 1.6 seconds this time. And then Rob Huff chasing after them as well. And this little group, is there going to be any change? I think the traffic a little clearer at this point, but when we get onto the last lap, who knows? We might suddenly be back into traffic. On board with Gordon Shedden. How can he find just that little bit more pace that he needs? How are the tyres feeling now, I wonder, because they've done a lot of laps.
Yeah, they've done a lot of laps, a lot of load, a lot of high-speed corners here, and they're all, I mean, tyres seem to be doing all right, Ben, because they've all set their personal best.
Somebody's made contact and thrown bodywork onto the track.
So I wonder if either they've made contact with the wall, because that's a lot of bodywork that's off there. So we might lose our fantastic battle. See a replay now.
Let's have a look at what happened here. Oh, it just flew off. The bodywork flew off. The was that number 36 car, I think. Yeah, one of the Chevrons. That's the Nick Thompson, Sean McClurg car. Oh my goodness! I don't know whether they're going to allow them to. They maybe just put a yellow flag up at that area. Maybe the racing will continue. Let's wait and see. Just under 2 minutes to go. That's all there is. I don't know if Gordon's going to be able to do this.
Yeah, I mean, Rob's gone quicker than him in both the first and second sector, all paid by a tenth in each. The yellow flag, let's hope they just stick with the yellow flag and we don't lose this exciting end to the race. But Rob Huff's just set the fastest lap of the race, that last sector, a good half a second quicker than Gordon Shedden. So the gap now down to just half a second.
Well, absolutely fantastic. Let's see whether they can keep it going all the way. Rob Huff is just tucked in behind Gordon Shedden. These guys have had plenty of races in touring cars over the years. Look at that whole rear bodywork section missing. How sad, but they're still going. That's good news.
Looks good. I like that. You can really see into the back of the car. But here we go. He's 2 tenths quicker, 3 tenths quicker that previous sector one time. So it's given a little bit of breathing space to Hall because Shedden's got his mirrors full of the red GT40 of Rob Huff, and he's right on the back of him now. But Gordon's used to this, used to close racing and British touring cars, so he's just going to try and make sure he keeps it nice and clean and place his car where he needs to.
Well, I'd say Stuart's doing a really good job right now, but Gordon Shedden is going to have to protect that because Rob is determined to find a way through if he possibly can up towards the chicane. So difficult to make a lunge here, and Shedden's braking late enough that the car was really sliding around. These two are going to have a huge fight in the remaining time. They're going to get another lap in here, and it's Rob moving one way then the other. Tries to go to the outside. Shedden will protect down the inside. Now, what about the exit? Can he get a better exit out of here? Let's hope they don't touch.
Yeah, it's so close. Need to get your exit. So Gordon did a great job. He's on so much oversteer on the exit now into Ford water. Not a simple corner, especially in one of these cars, but he's nicely done there. But Rob Huff has got a really good run. He's showing his nose. Gordon's experienced enough to know what he's doing, what tricks he's trying to play on him. Through St Mary's 1 into St Mary's 2. You can see them working the wheel so much, and they'll be aware this is the final lap. So only a couple more opportunities now for Rob Huff.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one here. Can he find a way through? It is coming up to the last chance. It's looking good for Dario Franchitti, despite the penalty that he has been given, a 10-second penalty at the end of the race. It will still allow him to win this race by more than 10 seconds over everybody else. Here comes Dario Franchitti. He takes the checkered flag and takes victory. Sean Lynn and Dario Franchitti, but the battle in the background is still going on. We know that second place, oh, look at this. Rob Huff almost alongside Gordon Shedden, but Shedden's still third at the moment. Rob Huff is trying to get the better exit all the way to the line. Second place, Stuart Hall's done a brilliant job in the Chevron. Across the line go the two GT40s. Shedden just holds on to that position by 0.063 of a second over Rob Huff. What a wonderful battle. Well done to Stuart Hall, who raced with Andrew Cocotti. Experienced racer, Stuart. He's done a lot of endurance racing, GT racing over the years, but he did a fantastic job there. But Dario Franchitti has taken victory. One of the stars of Goodwood has done it again, and he will be so delighted about that. He loves this event. He loves Goodwood. He's been busy all day long so far, but he and Sean Lynn have taken victory in the Gurney Cup in their beautiful Ford GT40. So they're just celebrating on the way back now that they've managed to do this despite all the dramas in that race, and picking up penalties and whatever else. But it has all worked out okay, and that was a lovely reaction from him in the car.
Yeah, it certainly will. So he'll be glad that he had the pace, even though that 10-second penalty. He still won by 8.8 seconds. But fantastic job by both Dario and Sean. But what a battle we had for the final podium position as well. Fantastic racing all round. Yeah, very, very good. And Andrew Cocotti and Stuart Hall did a superb job with the Chevron to get home in second place. So it wasn't a GT40 dominance in the end, even though it looked like it might be. And Gordon Shedden, that error that he made, partly because of going through slower traffic, having to go to the grass, and that started the whole sequence off. So sadly for Gordon Shedden and Miles Griffiths, they didn't quite get